What's up, guys? It's Benny. Decline is always a choice, whether you are in crippling financial debt, and that's just choices you made over many, many years that were bad, or if you are a fat slob and you can barely get up the stairs and you're in terrible health. These are choices you've made, generally over the course of many years in order to get into that state. It's a bad state to be in. You should try and reverse it, but it didn't just happen overnight. Societal decline is also a choice. When you have masked retards throwing bombs at cops in the middle of the interstate, and they're hitting them, pelting them with bricks, and trying to kill them. It was what's going on. What's going on there is you're trying to murder police officers. And this is what's happening here. This didn't just happen overnight. This is a choice. This has been going on in Los Angeles for decades. They've been allowing this. They've been allowing this criminal element to live and fester there because it gives Democrats power. And more importantly, because they're scared of it. They're scared of the Mexican flag waving goon squad. Well, Donald Trump isn't. And in order to put this down, in order to prevent this from happening in your country and in your civilization, you've got to take a hard line. You've got to put your foot down. Force only respects other force. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is clearly force. This individual is attempting to commit murder, all right? It's evil. We disavow it. You don't want your society to collapse into this. Nobody wants to live in this, a zero-trust, dysfunctional society. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I live in Florida, particularly Western Florida, that has Western sensibilities to it. Very much the Wild West out here. And what we mean by that is this is the land of alpha sheriffs. This is the land where the sheriffs rule and have awesome power to enforce the laws. It's great to see because there's a lot of families that come here. A lot of people come here to go to Disney or go to Universal or go to the beaches, right? And you want a safe and productive, orderly society in order to keep attracting people, right? And so I give you this. Florida sheriff here, from where I live, explaining what happens if the insanity that you are seeing in LA and the absolute atomization of society happens in Florida. It's going to be a very different fate. There's a reason why this clip went thermonuclear viral on my social media. 3 million views, 20,000 reposts, and 90,000 likes. I think you'll enjoy.
What I mean, if you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
The term graveyard dead is one that isn't normally used in the year 2025, but it is used here in Florida by Sheriff Wayne Ivey. Hometown sheriff, this is what I'm talking about right here. He's making a very clear message to the No Kings protest that's trying to get up and off the ground here in the state of Florida. Wayne Ivey is not playing around. He has a message for violent rioters. If you throw a brick or firebomb or point a gun at one of our deputies, we'll be notifying your family where to collect their remains because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play, says the Florida sheriff. I've long been a Sheriff Wayne Ivey fan. Here we go. Brevard County, Florida Sheriff Wayne Ivey tells rioters they will be killed. Well, you got to ask the question here, like, what is going on in these clips from LA? What is going on in particular in this clip that's quite famous now? What they're doing is they're pelting cops with rocks, bricks, and with mortars. This is attempted murder. Right there. That's attempted murder. When you chuck a brick at the windshield of a moving car, a quickly moving car, you're trying to You're trying to murder the driver. That's what it is. It's attempted murder. And no society should allow attempted murder, whether you're just walking down the street or or especially if you're an officer of the law. There should be extremely harsh penalties for that. Isn't that an orderly society? Isn't this the kind of society that you wish to live in? Society that I wish to live in. And the internet, of course, is cheering this. That's why I live here. Florida ain't California. If you show, this is how you maintain peace, through strength. Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey laying it down. Play at your own risk. I'd like to see sheriff as the United States. Reset the line. Sheriff Wayne Ivey of Florida. Sheriff of the United States. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone, obviously, who's been paying attention. 4 years ago, rewind the clock back to the George Floyd riots, where this sheriff, Grady Judd, possibly the most famous sheriff in America, went viral for explaining exactly how this peaceful protest was going to go down in Florida.
I can tell you, folks, so that there's no misunderstanding today, this is a peaceful protest. This is a riot. We can tell the difference. The governor can tell the difference. Our law enforcement officers can tell the difference. In the event you didn't get that, let me show you something. This is a peaceful protest. This is looting. If you loot, the next thing you can try to steal is something off of your food tray at the county jail, because you're going to jail. That's a guarantee. And we're going to enjoy taking you down there. Some people are slow learners. This is peaceful protest. This is violence. It's not acceptable. I truly believe in our God-given right and our constitutional right to speak openly and freely, to address our government. That's important. We listen every day. But I've also watched across this country when law enforcement officers who put their life on the line were told to stand down. Allow them to burn the precinct. Allow them to rob and loot. You have no idea, Governor and Speaker and President of the Senate, how proud we are of you just being here and saying we're going to introduce this legislation, but just being here and saying that you support us.
I watched clips like that from inside of Washington, D.C., as we were scared to leave our own house, as homes were being burned, including my house was being set on fire. People were being shot. The D.C. police had orders to simply stand down and do nothing, and the entire city descended into chaos. That is why I moved to Florida. In fact, that clip itself is why I moved my family to Florida and my business. But what is the most precious thing on earth? Of course, it's your children, the passing on of your heritage, and your family lineage. That's the most valuable thing on earth. I freaking put the fries in the bag if I have to, but that's I'm going to protect my family, damn it. That's it. All right, so that's why I'm here. I saw that clip. California needs to take notes. We need this in places like L.A. and New York, based, I love Florida. Blue sky libs are losing their minds on this, by the way. Libs, you'll be shocked to learn that libs don't like this. Constitutional sheriff of Brevard County threatens to kill ICE demonstrators. Stand your ground. We will not be bullied. Meh. Fat-ass Florida sheriff is threatening to kill unruly protesters. This crazy SOB needs to lose his badge. Okay, so Blue Sky Libs they love it. They'll tell you who they are. They love it. They love it. Ron DeSantis explaining what happens if you attempt to kill. Because when you're smashing a car with a brick, when you're throwing a brick through the windshield of a car, there's attempted murder, right? If you're gathering around a car, if you're trying to attack the people driving the car, which is what always happens during these protests, that's considered attempted murder. DeSantis taking a very hard line on that.
Also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
So again, part of the reason why I live here is that I have a right to defend myself and my property. It's called castle law here in the state of Florida, where it is incumbent upon me as a citizen to ensure that when I am under threat, I have not only a right, but an obligation to defend myself when I am under threat, whether in my domicile or my vehicle or on my person. It's a great state to live in because of that. President Trump defending the nation, defending the country, saying very clearly, if you hit,
be watching it very closely. And when they spit at people, you know, they spit. That's their new thing. They spit, and worse, you know what they throw at them, right? And when that happens, I have a little statement. They say, they spit, we hit. And I told them, nobody's going to spit on our police officers.
So was Trump telling the truth there? Well, check this out in L.A. After President Trump said that, here's the L.A. police getting spit on and hit. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, a change of tune. Very much welcome change of tune. That is why we live in the state of Florida, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a state that takes this kind of stuff very seriously. Don't California my Florida, we often say, and I don't see that ever happening in my lifetime. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe for more Law and Order. See ya.